Hello, my name is Ása and this is the course Lærum Íslensku, or Let's Learn Icelandic. And the topic of today's lessons is greetings. So I'm going to go over some basic, very common Icelandic greetings. So let's just get started. First of all, we've adopted some greetings from English. So if we just start with the word hi. Hi, so this is basically just the Icelandification of the word hi in English, and this we use all the time and a lot, and we either say hi and sometimes hi, sometimes twice, but it's very normal to say, and it's mostly used when you are talking to somebody that you know very well or that you meet very often. So if you meet them all the time, then I think the most natural thing is just to say hi or hi. Something like this. Very easy. We also use our own version of the English hello, which we pronounce as hallo. Hallo. And before caller ID, I think this was the most common way to answer the phone. Then you would say hello or something like this, but now we have caller ID, so you know who it is, so things have changed. Now I think it's mostly used when you meet somebody that you know relatively well by a surprise, or not like extreme surprise, but maybe you meet somebody at the store or something like this. Then you say, hello, somebody who you know well enough to be casual with, but not somebody that you will expect to see every single day. But this is of course quite flexible and depends on the person and all of that, but I think that's sort of the most common way to use it. If we get now into the more traditional greetings, such in English when you say good morning or good afternoon, then in Icelandic we would usually just use good day. So usually in the mornings we would say good day, and also in the afternoon we would say good day. And in Icelandic this is Góðan dag, Góðan dag. And it's worth to notice here a small grammar side note, and when you say good day, you're not actually using the dictionary form of these words. You're actually using the second case, the so-called accusative, or þolfall in Icelandic. And the reason for this is that we are not simply claiming that it is a good day, but it's more like we're wishing you a good day. And the wishing you is sort of omitted, but it's implied. But if it would be there, then these words would be in the accusative. So they still are in the accusative, even though we don't say I wish you a good day. It's just implied. So all these versions of good day, and as we will go through now, good evening and good night, it's all in the accusative form because of this reason. Because we are actually wishing you a good day, or wishing you a good evening, or wishing you a good night. And based on Icelandic grammar, in that case, the case of this should be the accusative. But this is just a grammatical side note that you don't really need to worry about right now. Now you just learn the phrases like a parrot. I mean, you don't need to understand everything about them. Then if you want to say good evening, then it's just the same. You say Gott, kvöld. Gott, kvöld. Okay, very easy. Gott, kvöld, which means good evening, or technically I bid you a good evening. Then finally we would say good night, and in Icelandic this is Góða, nótt. Góða, nótt. Góða, nótt. So all in all fairly easy. But there's one thing to notice here, and this is when in English if you say good morning, you say good afternoon, good evening, good night, the word good doesn't change. It's the same through all of these versions. But in Icelandic the grammar is more complicated, so the word good changes based on the gender of the word that we're talking about. And it just so happens that dagur, which means day, is a masculine word. Kvöld, which means an evening, kvöld is actually a neutral word. And nótt, which means a night, is a female word. And this means that we have these three different versions of the word good. We say Góðan dag, gott kvöld, or Góða nótt. And now we're going to add a little bit more grammar, because in Icelandic you can both say I bid you a good day, or also I bid you the good day. So we can add the definite articles, or the "the", which is called Greinir in Icelandic. And we do this typically only for day and only for evening. Typically we don't do this for night. I don't know why, it's just the way things are. So if we would do this for day, instead of saying Góðan dag, we would say Góða, daginn. Góða, daginn. And here you can see that the version of the adjective good has also changed a little bit. And this is because the adjective is not the same depending on if the word that is describing has the article or has the Greinir, or if it does not. So the correct way to say this is either Góðan dag or Góða, daginn. However, through the ages, through the decades and whatnot, Icelanders have sort of mixed these versions together. So they've mixed these versions together. So actually the most common way to bid the good day is to say Góðan daginn. Góðan daginn. Technically speaking, this is not grammatically correct. But at some point, it just stops being a matter of grammar, but it's just it just becomes a saying. I mean, languages evolve and all that, and it just becomes a fixed saying. And I think it's very close to being that. So most Icelanders, I think, will say Góðan daginn. So it's fine if you do this too, even though technically speaking, or not technically, actually technically speaking, it is wrong grammar, but nobody cares. So do what you want. Then we can also add the Greinir, or the definite article, to the evening. And then instead of saying Gott, kvöld, Gott, kvöld is without the definite article, without the. But if we add it, then we say Góða, kvöldið. Góða, kvöldið. And now you can see how the adjective changes as well. So you're getting a little bit of like a flavor of what it is to live with Icelandic grammar. A little bit like this. And just sort of as a completion, or just so it's there, we can also say good morning in Icelandic. And this would be Góðan morgun, Góðan morgun, or Góða morguninn, Góða morguninn. But this is not very widely used. Typically it's only used like, I don't know, half an hour after you wake up. So it's either only used among the people who sleep in the same house, or if you show up really early to work, like exceptionally early, you might use it. But it's always, in all of these cases, in all of these situations, it's completely normal to say Góðan daginn instead. So let's just have a quick overview. So if you want to say good morning, you say either Góðan morgun or Góða morguninn. If you want to say good day, you say Góðan dag or Góða daginn. And if you want to say good evening, you say Gott, kvöld or Góða, kvöldið. And when you want to say good night, you just say Góða, nótt. I realize these are many options, so if it's too much to learn all at once, just pick one. And I would just suggest to pick like Góðan daginn. This is the one that you can use in almost every situation, so just use this one. And it's good that you understand the other ones as well, but just use this one until you're completely comfortable with using that one perfectly. Then you can sort of try to add a new one, like try to say Gott kvöld, or try to add one more. All in all, it's a much less offense if you say Góðan daginn at the middle of the night, rather if you say the wrong version of the adjective. So if you say the wrong version of the adjective, that might cause people not to understand you or become sort of surprised and panic and things like this. So if you're not sure that you will remember everything, just start with one and then you can add to it little by little. Okay, so now we know how to say hello in many different ways, and you can choose your favorite. But usually when you meet someone, then you will have a short conversation. And then a normal part of the conversation, or at least almost always when you meet somebody that you haven't met in a while, is that you will say Hvað að frétta? Hvað að frétta? And this means what's the news, or sort of what is up with you, what is happening in your life. The standard answer to that is just saying allt gott. Allt gott. Everything good. So basically everything is fine with your life, and this is the equivalent in English when you say how are you and the other person says I'm fine. So when you say this, like Hvað að frétta, then you give the other person the option to elaborate. So maybe they might say, my son just graduated college, or they might say something if there's something noteworthy in their life, but if they're busy and they don't have time to chat or don't feel like it, then they will just say allt gott, and that is it. So it's almost like a couple, they go together. Hvað að frétta? Allt gott. Then after this little exchange, it's very normal to say gaman að sjá þig, which means it was nice to see you, or it was fun to see you, or it was nice to see you, something like this. We say gaman að sjá þig, and then the other person says takk, which means thank you, sömuleiðis, takk, the same, thank you, I feel the same. So this is sort of like, then you're sort of preparing the person that you're going to say goodbye next. It's like ending the conversation, and then the next person will say goodbye in some manner. And we have several ways of saying goodbye. The easiest or the most casual one is saying bye, which is just the equivalent of hi. So you always use it in very casual situations. Then you say bye or bye-bye. So it's always with people you know very well, or usually people that you meet very often. A very normal, I would say, neither casual nor formal way is to say a bless. So that's like the most average, normal way to say goodbye in Icelandic, sort of just like goodbye. And it comes from the word to be blessed, so it's sort of like wishing the other person that they would be blessed, something like this. So this is the origin, but now it just means goodbye. So you just say bless, or very, very commonly you say it twice, bless, bless. If you're thirsty for more Icelandic knowledge, there are a couple of other ways that we can do this, and one of them is to say sjáumst, sjáumst, and this just means we will see each other, or let's see each other soonest, something like this. In Italian it's ci vediamo, but I'm not sure if it exists exactly like this in other languages. Yes, in Danish it's vi ses. So basically it's like we will see each other soon. And sort of a sister to this option is to say Hevrums. So Hevrums, and this means we will hear each other soon. Okay, so these are the main ways to say goodbye. First of all, it's bye or bye-bye, bless, 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 and then sjáumst and heyrumst. So these are all the basic greetings. I will now put up a short conversation, so the easiest conversation that a person can imagine. And on purpose I've made the conversation in that way that the gender of the speaker and the gender of the other speaker do not matter. So this is a gender neutral conversations. There are not many of those in Icelandic, but I made it simple just for this purpose. And I will read it through you. And you can use this this is almost like a template for all encounters of Icelanders downtown or at the supermarket or whatever. The conversation will usually always go something like this. Góðan daginn. Nehei, halló. Hvað að frétta? Allt gott. Jæja, gaman að sjá þig. Takk, sömuleiðis. Bless, bless, sjáumst, and that's it. Here is a short summary of what we talked about in the lesson. Press pause and read at your own pace. The homework of today is very straightforward. Just connect these Icelandic phrases with their English meaning. Press pause, take all the time that you need, and now I'm going to give you the answer. So here is the solution. I hope that you managed to get all of them correctly. That is it for now, and then I'll just see you in the next episode, or in Icelandic, sjáumst í næsta þætti. Bless, bless!